We are live right after the Golden State Warriors have just punched their tickets to the NBA Finals. And this is a live breakdown of what we saw today of the game, my thoughts, and of the Boston Miami series, who potentially could end tomorrow. Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Project 365 experience.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the content. Coach 365, Podcast 365, the podcast that you love. And today we're going to give you our live game thoughts on what did we think about the Warriors clinching their way to the NBA Finals, right back to the NBA Finals. And also, what are we thinking about the upcoming series that potentially could finish tomorrow with Miami playing against Boston. Boston is leading that series 3-2. So let's hop into the Golden State series. I first off have to off to Golden State. I know there were a lot of doubters. There were a lot of people who thought that the Warriors would not be able to put everything back together. They're saying that the Warriors are old. Clay's coming back from injury. Draymond's not the defensive player that he is. But I personally, if you guys know me, you guys know that I like those underdog stories. And there's a couple of underdog stories in this series that I think are very interesting. First of all, just the whole narrative around the Warriors won't be able to do it. That's number one. But number two, Andrew Wiggins. Very, 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 as a fellow Canadian, very happy for Andrew Wiggins. He's getting a chance to compete for an NBA championship. Something that was very hard for us to visualize, because we all know that Andrew Wiggins started off with the Cavaliers. Got drafted by the Cavs. Got traded to Minnesota, right? And then Minnesota, we said, oh, he wouldn't be able to win just because he's a good player, but he wouldn't be able to win. But now just see him lock in and be steady in a role with the Warriors. That has proven to be all the difference, because now he's thriving, right? Andrew Wiggins, you're just focused on being Andrew Wiggins. And that brings up a good topic, because I think that not a lot of people think about that, where so not everybody, so on a team, people's roles are different, right? So not everybody needs to be the superstar who handles the ball, who scores a lot, who takes all the shots, right? Who makes all the assists, right? You can lock in and be great at your role. And in Andrew Wiggins' situation, what the Warriors really needed him to do was just be aggressive off the ball. We have Steph Curry, we have Klay Thompson. They're going to do they're going to do the heavy lifting, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to put you on the best matchup, and you're going to affect the game defensively. And we talk about this, and I learned this from Earl Watson. Okay, so the game of basketball is played into two planes. Okay, you can play it in two ways. Okay, horizontally and vertically. Okay, a lot of players struggle to find a vertical game. How do you affect the game vertically? And what people don't understand is that you affect the game. You affect the pace of the game by affecting it vertically. Now, Coach, what do you mean by vertically? So if we look at a court, and if you hop on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. If we look at the court this way, okay, when talking about horizontal and vertical, and I'm going to try to narrate it if you're watching it on the pod, if you're listening to it on the pod. Anything going north-south, okay? North-south. Anything going north-south, and how we could change the pace, right? How it goes up and down. Anything that goes up north south, that's vertical. How could you affect the game vertically? So how can we affect the game vertically on defense? We could pick up full court. We could turn guys in the back court, right? How can we affect the game vertically on offense? Maybe we could grab rebounds. We could block shots that could strike our transition. Maybe it's just sprinting to the corners. Okay. So the horizontal and the vertical is the ways that we change the pace of the game. Now, when we're talking about vertically, when we're talking about horizontally, sorry, I'm getting excited. When we're talking about vertically, we're talking about side to side, horizontally. Okay. Horizontally, especially in the half court, that's where you have your superstars. Your superstars are special in the half court, right? Looking at guys like LeBron James. If LeBron James or Giannis get the ball over here, right? These players are so dominant in the low post, posting up, or just putting all that pressure on the rim that forces the defense, right? So if I have an X on the opposite side, if you could visualize, if you have an X on the opposite side, now we're forcing defense to have to commit, and now we can make these passes to the weak side, and now we create for our teammates, right? So back to Andrew Wiggins. What Andrew Wiggins has been doing is locked into his role, and I'm going to change the pace of the game. I'm going to change it defensively. I'm gonna add a vertical element to the game. So in this series, what Andrew Wiggins has been doing is he's been picking up Luka full court, and we know Luka is a high volume. He's a high volume in terms of having the ball in his hand for the Dallas Mavericks. He's handling most pick and rolls, probably 75 to 90% of the pick and rolls, right? We know that he's going to score a lot. He's going to create for the corner guys to be able to catch and shoot. Okay. So Andrew Wiggins has found a niche. So again, talking about those underdog stories, really happy for Andrew Wiggins. Really happy that he kind of gets the chance to potentially get an NBA championship. But let's talk a little bit more about the game. In the first quarter, so this was the clinching game, and I think this is the problem for Dallas. I think Luka is exerting too much energy too early. Okay. And I think what the next level is going to have to be for Luka is Luka's going to have to maybe catch the ball in the post and start doing his damage from the post first before starting to handle all these pick and rolls, or he's going to have to catch the ball at the elbows. Because we know he's the main player. That's the head of the snake. That's the main player that Dallas is trying to get involved to create for the others. But what's happened is that when you get Luka to score to handle too much offensively, what happens is by the end of the game, you could tell like he struggles defensively. So too much energy is being exerted. So how do we conserve energy? That's going to have to be the thoughts for Dallas. So in the offseason, I'm thinking potentially Dallas, you might have to start looking for another star that doesn't play in the same realm as Luka. So what I mean by that is you don't want to get, if you're going to get another star, you don't want to get somebody that handles a lot of pick and rolls. You want to get somebody that kind of complements Luka. So that could be either a dynamic wing guy that's able to maybe play a little more defense, is able to generate offense from the corners, right? Because we don't want to take away from Luka. Or maybe somebody in the low post that Luka could dump the ball in and then just let him work. Because now what's happening is, and I'm going to pull out the stats. I am on my phone. I'm going to pull out the stats. And I want you guys to visualize this. Like the rest of the guys have to be more aggressive. We have to find a way to have players that are a little bit more aggressive around Luka. Because now what's happening is Luka is, so if Dallas is in the penalty, okay, and Luka is handling all these pick and rolls, right? And Luka's going to play today's stats. Luka played 40 minutes, He went 10 for 28 field goal, right? So he shot the ball 30 times, 3 for 13 from 3-point, and he went 5 for 7 for the free throw line. We've had games where Luka shot the ball from the free throw line about in the double figures. What's happening now is Luka is getting hit too much. Okay. So we have to either the rest of our guys have to be a little bit more aggressive to take some of that pressure off of Luka, or we have to just go get another star that's able to alleviate and relieve that pressure off of Luka so Luka doesn't get hit. Because now what's happening is Luka is handling the pick and rolls. He's drawing fouls. He's doing way too much. So now on defense, now teams are just like, okay, isolate space and let's attack Luka. So either we're gonna have to. There's multiple solutions we could do. Maybe we could hide Luka on defense. Maybe it's just have somebody else that we could bring in or maybe trade. Because what we have to do is we have to relieve some pressure off of Luka. And the biggest thing is you think about Porzingis, right? And you wonder why hasn't Porzingis and Luka worked? Okay. In my opinion, I think the biggest thing that we're seeing is Porzingis would settle a lot for those top of the key threes. But if you look at how the Mavericks are operating their offense, that's Luka's area, right? So we talk about how players complement each other. That is Luka's area. Luka is top of the key. If he gets a screen and Porzingis is going to pop that every single time, he's gonna take the screen and just pop. Well, defensively, what I'm doing is I'm just switching that. Just contest the shot, let Porzingis have to hit the shot. We have to find maybe somebody who can roll to the basket, put pressure on the rim, right? Maybe we get a big. Maybe we, like I mentioned before, maybe we get a big that we could throw the ball in the low block. So all that when we are dealing with getting stars and just complementing our players that we have, we got to make sure that the areas of the court that they operate in where the players are their best, that they don't overlap. And I think that's why the Porzingis experiment didn't really work, right? And yeah, we got to be able to find a solution. If you're Dallas, you got some questions that you want to ask during the offseason. I think also defensively, offensively, one thing that I noticed from Dallas is either we need a little bit more off-ball movement or I think we need a little more off-ball movement. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Dallas is content into offensively being in the 5-out. What happens with the 5-out is, for the most part, the players are just standing around in the perimeter. So defense is just sitting there focused in on Luka, right? And if I'm a defender on the Golden State Warriors, I'm okay with Luka. Maybe I help and recover, right? Luka is going to get to the paint. I help. He kicks it out. I just recover. And maybe I live with everybody else shooting threes. But now what's happening is the gaps are not as big. There's too much standing. So the help side defense is all focused in on the action. So it's a little bit easier to guard. So just some thoughts. I think we're just standing around a little bit too much. And in the offseason, I think Dallas has a couple of things that they have to think about. And back to the Warriors real quick. So in my opinion, I was sitting here watching this game with another one of our coaches, and I was telling him, like, man, at the beginning of the game, the first quarter, it was just a 4-point game, but I was like, man, this feels like a blowout. And the reason I was saying that is because the quality of shots that the Warriors are able to get really sets them apart. They get backdoor cuts. They get wide open catch and shoot threes. They get downhill drives. They have Kevon Looney who finishes stuff at the rim. So the quality of shot in this game, Dallas had to rely on making these tough shots. Back to the point that I was making about them standing around. It's really just one-on-one and shoot contested over people. But the Warriors, on the other hand, there's ball movement, there's cutting, there's passing, there's everything, right? Everybody's staying with themselves and knows what do they have to do to be able to make this team work. And I think that's an interesting thing because, like, you know, when you have, because the NBA is a copycat league, right? If something is working, everybody else tries to imitate it. I think what teams have to understand is that you cannot imitate what the Warriors are doing. The Warriors have two of the greatest shooters of all time. So yes, Steph Curry can shoot 13 threes in a game and have it at a good percentage. But if everybody else, like Dallas, tries to you cannot outshoot the Warriors. You know what I'm talking about? Whoever faces them, Miami, if you face the Warriors in the final, you can't outshoot Miami. You can't outshoot the Warriors. Boston, I remember there was a game that Boston shot almost 43s in a game. You cannot outshoot the Warriors. You're going to have to find other ways to win. Maybe put them into foul trouble. Quality of shots. Because when you take these bad shots, it's almost as if you're doing a turnover. I'm very interested in seeing who comes out of the East. And on the other hand, we have moving over to the East, we have Celtics playing against Miami, which has been a very interesting series. And I think the biggest point that I saw from that series is the two best defensive teams are the ones that made it to the conference finals. The two teams that have the most versatility defensively are the ones that are in the conference final. And I think that's something that we can definitely look forward to the future of the game going. We talk about it in a few of our videos that we had on IG Live. Miami switches a lot. Now, if we're looking at Boston, Boston is long because you play Marcus Smart 6'5", Jaylen Brown 6'7", Jason Tatum 6'7", Grant Williams 6'8", 6'9", and you're going Al Horford, who is 6'10", 6'11", right? So you have all that size. So the size and the switchability and the mobility allows you to do a lot of things. And I think that's something that has given Boston the advantage for the most part, because now they're up like one game and one game away from making it to the finals. So I think defensively, and that's what I am really looking at in that series, because if we look at it, the Celtics held the Miami Heat to 80 points. 80 points. And we're talking about an era where we're used to teams scoring 110, 100. The Warriors scored 120 tonight. Right? So what that tells me is that Boston sticking to their game plan. They're not jumping on okay, if we have Jimmy Butler and Jimmy Butler at the beginning of the game gets layups, then his confidence goes up, right? So what I noticed in the first game, in the last game that Boston just won, if we're just focusing on Jimmy Butler, they're sticking to the game plan, which is whenever Jimmy Butler will go downhill, we have somebody protecting the rim, and we're going to let Jimmy Butler prove that he can make those mid-ranges, and then we adjust our game plan. Now, what that does psychologically, if I'm a player, Jimmy Butler likes to get to the rim, likes to finish. If you let Jimmy Butler have to find himself on his jump shot, that allows him to, if he doesn't make a few, now Jimmy Butler's struggling. Now Jimmy Butler has to find himself a different way or whatever, right? Instead of letting him feel good, getting something to the rim, getting free throws. And now he's pulling back out. Now he's taking shots. Now he's feeling good, right? So rhythm, we talk about it a lot. Rhythm is so important. And I think that's what Boston's size has been able to do defensively. I'm excited for this next game. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Heat versus Celtics, to decide who's going to the NBA Finals? Like what? NBA Finals starting June 2nd. We already got the Warriors in. Who's going to face the Warriors? Hey, it's that time of the year. We're excited. We are very happy, but that is going to be it for today's video / pod / emergency post game video / pod. If you guys really enjoy these, we might get a few more going. We're heading into that stretch. We're on the verge of seeing who's going to be crowned the NBA champs. It's going to be fun. This was Coach O signing off. Catch you on the next one. Peace.